How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and yeah, a bit more Roadcraft today. Just at the start, while I was near the sand quarry, I just wanted to see if you could even nudge that trailer or anything. It's not looking like it's even movable. I was hoping that there'd be a possibility that you could move the trailers and kind of like deploy it somewhere else and then have a radius around that where you could collect sand from, but not so far. It might be something in the future, plus there may well be other vehicles unlocked in the future that you might be able to deploy. I also, whilst I was looking through the shop earlier, there was the big dump truck thing carries a hell of a lot more sand. But yeah, tonight it was mainly, at least for a big chunk of it, was planning routes, and then I was just tidying roads up, so I've kind of been skipping through and just getting to the next mission and so on. I haven't really done any maintenance really going on my map, so yeah, as you can see, that was one vehicle that got stuck, so I figured, right, I'll get the dozer, get the dump truck, go around kind of fixing bits of roads, get a lot of those missions done, get all, like, even if I've technically completed the mission, a couple of them had money that was still to be unlocked. And then yeah, this was like a bit of a deep section. When you originally go from like the first map heading towards the harbour, I attempted to drive through here on the other side with the Land Rover, and it went pretty deep pretty quick. That's definitely what she said. And I just drove around it, and then while I was on the way back, I almost drove around, and I thought, nah, well, I'll see. Yeah, it's a pretty deep section, but one good thing is this thing was actually able to back out, so even though it doesn't seem to be, it wasn't having it, it wasn't trying to go any further or anything, but it wasn't just a complete, like, that's it, now I've got to abandon it or recover it or whatever. Yeah, this vehicle and quite a few others don't have winches, which, whether it's a bit more realistic or not, or maybe they've, like, because it's got menu options you enter, but I don't know, I'd rather everything had winches. The reason I left this bit in is I went to the grader mode, manual, where I'm manually adjusting the bucket, and I was trying to move rocks out of the way so that this guy could get moving. And as I'll show you like in a minute coming up, it's like, I'm not bothered that there's a manual mode, because there's many other modes, so at least there's the option of manual, but it was a bit fiddly, as in, like, you might be at a certain angle and you lower the bucket, but then as you drive forward, you know, your front wheel props up on a rock a bit, so the bucket isn't really touching the ground anymore. I found sand flattening mode to be better. Yeah, as you can see though, kind of vehicles, especially that little van, gets stuck a hell of a lot. The truck obviously spawned, but I don't believe the truck's attempting to move because it's phased into that van. That was just to the left of the screen was where they just got stuck. So again, thought, right, I knew there was this, I tried to make them go across a shortcut, but again, that van was having none of it. There's this section of road to fill in, and I brought a dump truck all the way, but then I figured at the last second, like, hang on a minute, you can build bridges. And yeah, I thought this was pretty cool, as like, there's no mission or anything telling me to build a bridge. I just kind of wanted to go and see if you could. And it's a potential option anyway, because on my live stream I've got like a different playthrough, and I got this far, but I just dumped sand there and obviously flattened it out with the dozer, and then the vehicles would cut across that section. But yeah, this time I went for that, and it's pretty cool. Seems the game's pretty free on what it will let you do. Yeah, look, I won't go into sand flattening mode now, and as I drive forward, my bucket practically phases through the ground, but I sort of think that's a good thing, because in manual mode it seems to dig in the ground a bit more or whatever, or it will only let you lower the bucket a certain amount, whereas because it's like sand flattening mode, it's just kind of less restrictive. The bucket seems to stay pretty low, and then whilst I was cleaning more rocks out for this vehicle that keeps getting stuck, it just overall seemed easier and quicker to shove rocks out of the way. Again, there may be various situations in the future where manual mode obviously comes into its own. Yeah, and as well with that bridge, there's might be a reason that I'll sort of show towards the end of the video, because that's when I noticed it. The bridge, well, like, again, there's potential. I mean, I've also unlocked the paver and the roller in that now, so if I went to where I just built that bridge and dumped sand in there, flattened it out, I should in theory be able to pave it and all the rest of it, which may be a better option. But nonetheless, yeah, I think it's pretty cool that it was letting me build a bridge without specifically being any kind of mission or anything. Yeah, this thing's getting stuck again, so I'm actually on the way to fix some other bits of road, but while I was driving along there, I thought, right, I'll give him some encouragement. He's fighting it. He's not even trying to drive forward at this point. I think in the AI's mind, It's because it's not trying to drive forward itself, it thinks it's still stuck or whatever, but it's not moaning whilst it's physically travelling forward. I thought I'd stop now just to see, like, what is it actually going to do? Is it going to attempt to move, or is it just going to sit there because I've pushed it? But it didn't. It started driving off, so yeah, like I say, a little bit of encouragement. Yeah, so I was kind of just going back and forth all night, probably not the most efficient. Apologies if the editing is a bit choppy, but again, because I was just kind of driving around kind of doing my own thing, nothing really specific though at first. I kind of didn't really know which bit of footage I was going to keep and which I was going to get rid of. But yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of around the other side of the island now, patching that road up, moving some rocks out of the way. Let's try and run over a toilet to see what it'd do. I wanted to bump that out of the way more, but I kind of missed it. And yeah, as you see in the middle of the screen, it comes up saying route failed. That tends to be a bit of a common theme. So I've dumped some sand. This is the main bit that's, to be fair, I can see why they get stuck here. And yeah, I have heard that, obviously the game's only just come out, so they're, based on feedback and all the rest of it, they're going to tweak things. I've heard, well, I heard it as in like the AI drivers, they're going to improve them, which I think is a good thing anyway. But strictly speaking, if it's the actual AI driving hasn't really been that bad for me. Again, you can see sand flattening mode, got those rocks out of the way as well. Yeah, the actual driving hasn't been that bad. They seem pretty well to follow the lines I've drawn. It's more, particularly that van, is it gets stuck on a pebble. It seems to get stuck everywhere. And it doesn't really bother me for a couple of reasons. I mean, the game's Roadcraft. You're literally supposed to... It'd be like getting annoyed at SnowRunner because there's not just a smooth paved road from A to B where you're delivering cargo. Like, the whole point of it is sort of to have things going on and you've got to go and fix it. But yeah, the other thing is once you've cashed all the money out of the mission, you can, in theory, once they fail the route, just leave them, or you can cancel the route and effectively turn off the mission for a bit. So if you kind of don't want that to keep flashing up, you can either ignore it, but if you really didn't want to see it, you can turn all the missions off and leave them off for a week if you want, and then when you're in the mood to get your dump truck out and the dozer and all the rest of it, you can go and fix some routes and then just reactivate them. And yeah, you're not getting any more money or anything, but I do like it because even sort of towards the end of tonight, I had 4 or 5 different you know, AI routes kind of ticking along by themselves, and just as you sort of pan out on the bird's eye view of the map, there's just vehicles sort of driving around all over the place doing their, well, yeah, doing their own thing until usually the van gets itself stuck. But yeah, so it does make the map feel more alive, which is quite cool. And in theory, I mean, once there's only so many roads you can patch up, eventually I'm just going to have the whole thing paved in sand. To be fair, I should actually, I didn't even really think of it until now, like I've sort of been dumping sand and paving roads, but, sorry, or flattening them, but I haven't actually paved anything else myself yet. Yeah, so came here, built the road, got 2 lots of concrete slabs. As soon as I just drove up to the yellow square, it just accepted them. I had it strapped down, but it just kind of unstrapped them itself, so I don't know, just sort of if you arrive and it doesn't take it, maybe you gotta do the straps or whatever. Yeah, so just bear in mind, you've seen that van sort of drive hassle-free up onto my bridge. I'll get to that a bit later. You can see now as well, by the way, I was fixing a bit of road, but I already activated the mission. You can see the van in the distance just going over the bridge. I was trying to race him to the point where I've got a load of sand dumped, and I thought, right, I'll try this shortcut. Immediately, like, god damn it. Slowed right down, was like, nope, didn't really work as a shortcut. There he is, still in front. I mean, I'll probably gain on him a little bit, but if I just went the normal way and over the bridge I just built, I probably would have gained even more ground on him. So again, have to give him a little bit of encouragement. You see in the distance, I've already dumped the sand. He actually rallied over that pretty well. Like, to be fair, which I think is cool. They don't, it's obviously programmed that way. Like, you don't sink into the sand. So that's why he seemed to just try and rally over the entire bump. But as soon as he got to the other side, he, yeah, sank into the mud a little bit and just completely, well, he started reversing. It's like, bloody hell, mate, you got further. Like, now you're making it worse for yourself. But yeah, give him a little bump and smooth this one out. Normally, I found the sand spreads out quite nicely. Like, a bit of sand goes a long way, but for whatever reason, this didn't really seem to be pushing the sand kind of in a wider area than it already was. So, park these up. Sort of all night, I was like recovering them back to the harbour and fixing a road on that side, and then moving them back over to this side. I don't mind that, again, that's part of the game. But as far as, say, editing and the footage and all the rest of it, it's a bit all over the place. So, some actual missions. Find a way to the steel pipes facility. So I had to get me goddamn professional out of this one. Still parked on his steps from yesterday. It's all good. Gets down them just fine. Yeah, so I kind of finished the first part of my night, in theory, getting those AI routes kind of a little bit more fleshed out so they actually tick along by themselves. I also got, there was a mission from like the first island to the harbour that unlocked a load of concrete slabs. You can see in the top right corner I've got 10 slabs now, so got that one in the bag. That was the one where that it's a Voron truck, I keep calling it a Tiger for some reason, that was getting stuck on those massive rocks. But yeah, got that in the bag, so. And some supplies. You can also see, basically in the top left, I've now got 12 fuel. That was the mission from the transit point to, I believe it's called Panama on here. Basically, that bridge I built, the little one, that was the route for that. And part of the reward of that mission is it gave me more fuel. I think I was down to 4 or something. I think per vehicle that gets through it was giving me 4. And I don't even believe it said like all rewards paid out. There might even be a possibility to keep sending vehicles and getting more of that. But yeah, that fuel is like, I can now recall 12 vehicles to my loaf, wherever the loaf is on the map. Made it to the gas facility place, and yeah, got to clear the way, pull some pipes out of the way. That's what I kind of found, like drive forward, ram one pipe out of the way. In theory, I probably could have done it even more efficiently and kind of reversed into the pipes, but yeah, fling a winch onto that and drag that back, put a winch on one of these pipes and ram the other one out of the way. In no time, job's good, and it's all cleared out. And you can see, well, it's unlocked. Like now, there's the next stage of the mission to actually go around here, and there's quite an important reason why it's worth cleaning this place out and getting it all fully unlocked. Like almost there. I was looking behind me because I was going to just ram through the fence and jump down. At the last minute I thought, oh, I won't, I'll go around the proper way because I want to see, like, yeah, there's a little slight ramp you can go down. But also, I've rammed fences in this game already. 1 or 2 of them seem to break, but a lot of them seem like they're just completely fixed in place. And again, further testing will be done, but I thought for now I'll go around the proper way. So yeah, that's that objective complete. Find a way to the steel facility.
Like the steel pipe facility needs major repairs. And by major, I mean more than you and I can handle in a few minutes. Set up a route from Embala.
Tell me
to
what
the
I
steel
can
pipe
handle in a
facility.
few minutes.
Our
Yeah, so I've got to set up a route. I kind of was almost doing 2 missions concurrently. Where this steel pipe facility is, there was another mission to find the get to the gas power plant, which is basically just even further south than the steel facility. So I was kind of doing them overlapping, but each one you unlock, it then asks you to build an AI route to them. That then obviously like ticks along, it unlocks the next part of the mission. To go and inspect some pipes and all that at some point. But yeah, what I'm working towards is particularly this steel facility. Once you get it up and running, you can actually use it to recycle materials and build steel pipes, I believe it was. Yeah, this part, and get yourself a loaf. The last time I drove off to the right and jumped over a different rock, but I've been driving around quite a lot in the goddamn horse. Again, probably not a surprise to anyone, but I have yet to... well, I jumped off a cliff the other day and he rolled over, but then I did a winch or something and flipped myself back. But as far as just general driving around, like I'll give him a pass on that, because I did jump off a sheer drop. Yeah, I've not tipped him over or anything. He seems pretty good, pretty stable. Makes sense for a horse. And yeah, I am very glad they've made the loaf. He deserves it. He's pretty damn useful in this game. Not a lot really seems to stop him. See, if these were the vehicles, like the AI vehicles, driving along the routes you've planned, you wouldn't. The game Roadcraft would be done in like 10 minutes. You just set up goddamn professionals all over the place and rake in the money. I'm nearly up to 50 grand now as well. I could buy a vehicle. I've unlocked, it's called like a Mule T1 or something. It's on the first map, the vehicle I delivered concrete and steel beams in. It's like one of them, but you can buy a version with a crane on it as well. That sort of a bit like in SnowRunner, it's like the mini crane. But that's going to be handy because then it's also got a cargo bed on the back. She's just saying to like set up a route. So yeah, you've got like a crane and a cargo bed in one instead of having to like, at the minute I'm using that Voron with a flatbed or whatever sideboard bed, and then that crane that's, to be fair, the crane's not really bothered me at all, the one with a crazy turning circle. So you see now, as I'm drawing the second light, I drew one to the steel plant, and now I was drawing one to the gas facility. I completed the steel plant mission, and it came up saying recycling facilities are the primary means of producing resources. Each facility specialises in one type. This facility does metal rubble into metal pipes. Gather metal rubble, matching the colour of the resource you want to produce, so in this case it's showing like purple. Bring it to the recycling zone and press X to produce the resource. And then as I was panning around, you can go like to the different map layers. There's like, so I'm going to drop it off and then go to the bigger square, I believe, and then click a button and it'll sort of recycle it. And yeah, it'll turn metal rubble into steel pipes, which I'm going to need fairly soon. I don't end up getting it tonight, but that's kind of, this is all sort of the setup for the mission. So as you look around, there's obviously green resources of trees, but there's stuff like these pipes. I don't know if I'll just already be able to use them as pipes or if they just count as scrap, but there's a scrap car there. There's like, I think that was a digger bucket. Over here near the gas power plant, there's some like metal bucket going on there, and then when I go back, you can see all that stuff lighting up in purple is all just random scrap metal. Which again, yeah, it's pretty cool because you're essentially just like scavenging from the scenery, really, and you can go and cash that in. So again, vaguely like say SnowRunner, when you'd get materials though, and you could like craft other materials. But I think this one seems more
Looks like we have a problem at the
natural,
gas
that
power
you can just
plant.
go and scavenge stuff.
Pipeline seems to have sprung a leak. Or five. The
So
crew have
pipelines
narrowed it down to
sprung a
the
leak.
gas distribution substation.
The
It
route I
has
drew
been
to the gas
approved by
plant,
the
the AI
storm.
vehicle's
I'll
got
bet you
there,
could
so it
drive and
sort
check
of
it out.
unlocks the next mission. She's basically just saying go and take a drive along the pipelines and inspect them to see which ones, or like whereabouts it's broken and all the rest of it. So again, sounds like a job for the goddamn horse. Oh, it's saying no tracked objective in the top corner. I'm pretty sure I did, but apparently I didn't. Yeah, see, we're all down 56 grand now. And that's when I was looking through the shop. Like I say, I'm probably going to buy that Mule T1 first, possibly, but I don't mind holding off until I definitely know, because part of buying that rebuild edition or whatever of Roadcraft, it unlocked the Invictus, which is like a Hummer, and then there's like a massive tracked vehicle that's like a massive dump truck on tank tracks, and that can apparently hold like, I'm sure it was 25 or 35 tons of sand, versus my dump truck's like 5 tons, so I'm curious. By the way, when I was just looking where I'm going or whatever, you can see the loaf rolling backwards because I've got to put the handbrake on him. Again, fortunately, he's a goddamn beast, so he didn't roll and mess the mission up. Yeah, like that dump truck thing can hold a lot more sand, so I'm curious how that's going to work out. Will it let me dump, say, 5 piles of sand instead of 1, or will it dump an absolute monstrous gigantic pile, or will it be, because I don't particularly mind it, because with a dump truck it kind of works out, you just dump the full load, that's what she said, and it sort of works out quite nicely. But it's not, you can do it where you tip like the dumper and it dumps out some of the sand, but even if your vehicle goes slightly uphill and changes angle, it's going to kind of count as it's tipping enough, and it'll just dump the lot out anyway. So yeah, I'm curious to see if that massive dump truck behaves like, yeah, if it does like a gigantic pile, or if it's a lot easier to kind of drop one load and then yeah, without having to be like too precise and delicate with the tipping mechanism. Which, yeah, that's 65 grand for that thing, so I'm not too far off on the money. I'm kind of hoping, in fact, if anyone knows, I'd appreciate it. If I buy a vehicle, say if I bought that for 65 grand, would I be able to sell it for 65 grand? If you can, obviously that's good, because then I can just get it, test it out, and if I don't want it, I can sell it back. But, which I believe SnowRunner does that, like whatever you pay for a vehicle, I believe you get the same money back for it, which I think is cool. I don't really like it with games where you buy something, say, for 50 grand and you can sell it for 25, because then in the scheme of things, you could end up being very far into a playthrough where you have theoretically unlocked a lot of money, but you've wasted it over the months or whatever by like trying out different vehicles and selling them back. And in theory, you could eventually get yourself to a point where even though you've completed just about everything, there might be other like side missions to repeat, but yeah, you're going to end up with no money. So I hope they sort of work it that way around. My money's still going up a little bit because part of those AI routes I've got set up just ticking along in the background. Each time they arrive, I sort of bag a bit more cash as they're fairly recent. And yeah, with the loaf, so I went over to the first bit, inspected the pipes. There's one more set of pipes it wants me to look at. And again, you can see with the loaf, for some of it, I wasn't even on any kind of road at all. It is pretty good for just rallying across the countryside and climbing over rocks. And yeah, again, like, I'm glad they've done him proud. The horse is a bloody useful vehicle in this game. So, now that you've scouted all the broken pipe sections, you will need to restore the steel pipe facility to begin repairs.
Did a number on the gas power plant. Let's find the breaches and patch them with the new pipe segments. Yep. You get to be a plumber now, too.
You get to be a plumber. Let's be some 1970s porn star plumber with a funny mustache. So, I started tracking it. It's in your infrastructure things, and you can see there it says about fixing it. So, 1, locate broken segments by following the pipe, which I've sort of done that. 2, recycle metal rubble at the steel pipes facility to create steel pipes. And then 3, deliver and install new segments to replace the broken ones. I'm not 100% myself yet if it, like, say once I get the pipes, I could load them into, like, a flatbed like the Tayga. I don't know if it's going to want me to also take a crane. If it does, that's where, like, buying that Mule T1 with the flatbed and the crane will be handy. Yeah, and lastly, this is why I was mentioning about the bridge earlier. So you can see this thing that, again, gets stuck on a leaf. The front made it up, but the back's now kind of digging in and it's sort of chewing the ground up where the bridge is, and obviously the bridge is kind of like a solid entity, so it's not really like I can sink it down or anything, which I didn't mind. I thought, right, cool, I'll bring some sand, come and flatten it out. By the way, it only happened to me twice in the whole night, but it won't let me pan my camera around there. I just went into like the bird's eye view and back, and then it was fine again. But just throwing that out there, that happened to me twice. Yeah, the issue is when I smooth the sand out, if you can see, there's almost, imagine like an imaginary box around the bridge that it won't let you push sand like completely up to it. I gave it a couple of goes as well. It's definitely you can see it kind of gets there, but then it backs off, so it won't quite fill that last little gap up. So that's why it might possibly be better to dump sand, smooth it, possibly even pave it and all the rest of it. The lorry, though, gets up there just fine, and I waited about probably 10-20 minutes or whatever. After the missions are all complete, you've got to just... it'll only send one at a time, but it kept sending lorries after that, so I never got to see if that van will still get stuck. And then, yeah, as you can see, this is ticking along. It just went down from, like, remaining reward, like 1,300 to 950. Yeah, so I'll get on to the steel pipes tomorrow, I reckon, but that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.